Hey everyone, Monica Bodirski here. Welcome to Shadowlands Studio. This is the studio that I create a lot of my work in. You know what today's topic is? Deck modifications. Yes, we're going to talk about that, so stay tuned. Okay, let's dive right in. You know, this is a sensitive subject for some people, and I don't know if it's particularly sensitive for me in that, well, deck modifications, I've heard lots of reasons for people manipulating, cutting, gluing, painting decks. And the three things I hear the most are, it needed improvement. I bought it, it's mine, I can do whatever I want with it. And the third one I hear most frequently is, it's my creative outlet, kind of like scrapbooking. Okay, we all have the right to do whatever we want. I am addressing this because I had an incident several weeks back. For those of you who know that I have a page on Facebook, you may have been privy to that. I'm not going to divulge any names or give any specifics here, but I think this is a good time to discuss my own feelings on deck modifications. It's a really popular thing. There are lots of groups. People, grab your scissors, get going, paint, bejewel, cut out, add, all sorts of things. Now, when I wasn't a deck creator, it's only been about 6 years since I've been creating decks. I've been a designer and a graphic designer and a designer of material, 3D materials for quite a while. I've taught at an art and design university, and I've also been an illustrator as well as a tarot reader for many decades. But only recently a tarot and oracle deck creator. So I don't know that my opinion has really shifted any. I think I've always felt pretty much the same. I've gone to many conferences where people are modifying decks and people are having a good time. And I haven't been upset about it or angry about it or like, oh my, you can't do that. I've just kind of, to be honest, thought, what a shame. There are other ways to have a creative outlet and, like making your own cards, even if they're not the way you might like them, they're still yours. And there's a lot of satisfaction. I used to teach people how to make their own cards with collage because not everyone can draw or wants to draw. So it kind of struck me as well, there was a tear forming in my eye. I bought it and I can do whatever I want with. Well, of course you can. Of course you can. They're mass-produced items and you can do whatever you like. Ethically, for me, and this is just me, I don't feel like I can. I would rather give the deck away to somebody who appreciates it the way it is. I don't feel the need to me it feels like impose my taste onto something that already exists. I don't really see that as collaboration so much as defacing, quite frankly, because it's already designed with typefaces and illustrations, and there's a lot of thought put into designing decks. Some are poorly designed, granted, but there's a lot of thought that generally goes into deck design. And if it isn't my taste, I would just gift it to somebody else. And that's one of the great things about Reader Studio. I found, the swap table. We've all gone there, and you find some real gems because what is somebody's taste is not somebody else's. And that's the thing with aesthetics. I think that sometimes I get a little annoyed with, and only this much on occasion, is when people will say it needed improvement, and they think they're talking about design, and they're not. They're talking about their personal taste. And there's a distinction there. You have a right, obviously, to your personal taste. But, it is a little bit arrogant to say that you're improving the deck and it's better when you're done with it. It may be better for you. You may like it better, and you might even have other people like it a lot better. But a well-designed deck will appeal to the majority while remaining unique. Designers are trained, as many of us have been, to work within some pretty strict parameters and come up with the best possible design. And when I'm talking about that, I'm not talking about illustrations. That's a fine art. That's illustrative art. I'm talking about design from the standpoint of what a deck is intended to do, what colors are being used, what typeface, and overall how it is laid out. A lot of us have got a say in packaging. We work with our publisher, and other than independent decks in which you have complete say in what happens. But that is the little thing that might get to me a bit, is when people aren't distinguishing between their taste and what they will just state needs improvement, and they're not trained designers. And yes, there is an actual design aesthetic that is, well designed. That's not a personal taste. Things are either well designed or they aren't, pretty much. But you can have your taste for generally poor design or well-designed objects. And I know that sounds a little bit hard to pinpoint, but it's important because that is a very huge part of where my feelings get a little mixed up in this discussion of where people have, complete free reign. The other thing is, I guess, even though it's only paper and cardstock, not to me. To me, there's a spirit. There's a spirit within things because I'm an animist. And I respect things too much to, I guess, scribble on them. Or cut them in half. Or, honestly, there have been plenty of decks I haven't been crazy about, and plenty of decks I love, but to me, honestly, it's kind of inconceivable. And that's just how I feel about it. And I felt that way before I was a deck creator. It would be, honestly, to me, a little bit like, having a group of people, get together and all have, their favorite book. And then the group is dedicated to rewriting passages or making new covers. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I would suggest to those folks, I bet if you can do that, you could write your own book. As a matter of fact, wait a minute. Isn't that what you're doing? Why don't you make your own decks? I bet you can. I bet you can. And maybe you're going to say after you're done modifying it, it is your own deck. I guess that's a fair assessment. I don't know. Let me know how you feel about deck modifications. It's a touchy topic. Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.